Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we're starting the 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga, Yoga of the Supreme Person. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Urdhmoolamadash-shakam ashvattam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda saveda ved. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. There is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Very cryptic statement. Purport. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one may question, what about the Vedas? Because in 7 to 12 chapters, Krishna discussed about Bhakti Yoga. Now, what about the Vedas? Because this part is the Jnana Yoga part of Bhagavad Gita. Jnana part. So, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. It's not like we have to read all the Vedas and know the verses, chanting, this, that, and all that. That is all parrot-like. Prabhupada says parrot-like chanting is of no use. Once when we read some book or when we read some content, we have to come to the essence. We have to get the essence. Now, those who have got the essence already, they might not have read the Vedas, but they still got the essence. So they don't have to really read the Vedas. So it is as good as they already know the Vedas, because one who knows the Vedas means Vedashcha sarve Rameva Vedya, Krishna would say. So Krishna is only to be known. So if one who has already come to this stage of Bhakti Yoga and trying to understand Krishna, they don't need to read Vedas. They already read the Vedas because they've understood the conclusion of the Vedas. They've come to the conclusion of the Vedas. So those who are in Krishna consciousness, they might look like, ordinary people, they can't even read properly Sanskrit, or some people cannot even read. It doesn't matter. We have surpassed all those big Vedic chanters who don't know the conclusion of Vedas, but who are just chanting mantras and doing puja and this and that and all that. We have crossed them. We are way beyond them. So it's not a ordinary position. While we might look like ordinary people externally, but it's not an ordinary position that we have, by Krishna's mercy, we have come to that stage. No, that is about Vedas. No, but the important part here is this banyan tree. So, Prabhupada explains, the entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. So, this banyan tree is our entanglement. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities means doing something for our own swartha, benefit. There is no end to the banyan tree. I want this, I want that, I want something else. And what do? I keep doing actions. Previously, people used to do actions as per Vedas. Now people will do actions as they like. But there's no end to this banyan tree, which means there's no end to trying to get things, achieve material things. There's no end. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. And we've been doing this. And the tree of this material world has no end. And for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. Many people say, saying that, okay, fulfill all your desires. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like fulfilling all desires. There's no end to these desires. So only once somebody becomes dejected trying to get something and they're not getting it, only then they will say, okay, leave it. These are people become renounced normally. Otherwise, I've seen people till they die, they are in the same mode, earning money, going here and there, doing shopping, visiting new places. And there's no end to it because there are so many places. Suppose say somebody says, okay, I want to just see all the beautiful places on this earth. Oh, there are innumerable places like that. You can keep traveling. So there's no end to this. Or somebody wants to just read. They want to read about material things. There is no end to it. So whatever be our material desires, there is no end to it. So one who is attached to this tree, there's no possibility of liberation because they don't want liberation. They want to be stuck here, they will be stuck. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself. So what is the use of Vedas? The intent of the Vedas is to elevate one. And they are called leaves of this tree. Anyway, the point is they're supposed to elevate one. Elevate from this animalistic way of life to, going back to Krishna. This tree's roots grow upward. This is very strange. Normally we know trees' roots growing downwards. But here it's saying the trees' roots grow upward. Because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of this universe. So from Brahmaloka, these roots, actually they grow upward. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. So this is an indestructible tree. It cannot be destroyed. Like you said, because there is no end to this tree. But this is a tree of illusion, Maya, Moha. This material world is an indestructible tree of illusion. Only if you can understand this, then only one can get out of it. Otherwise, they'll think this is where I am supposed to be. I'm happy here. So you have to understand that this is a tree of illusion. And we have to think about getting out of it. And the more seriously we think about getting out of it, and the more Krishna will help us. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te, Krishna says. So now, we have to get out of it. Now Prabhupada is saying this process of extrication should be understood. Extrication is pulling ourselves out. We have to understand the process. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. So this is very, very important. Many people only try to do this detachment from material activity. That is not going to give us attachment to transcendental service of the Lord. But those who become attached to transcendental service of the Lord, automatically they will develop detachment. This is the beauty. But of course, the principle is that we don't encourage this. We don't keep increasing our attachment to material things. Because unless we develop attachment, if we are simply engaged, that's of not much use. That is also use, but it will take a long time. Meaning, if we are simply engaged in service of the Lord, but we are not attached to the service of the Lord, there's a big difference. Attached means that it should keep going on in our head all the time. Oh, what do we do? Okay, what about this service, that service, and it has to become our meditation, that absorption. Then automatically material activity will stop. First of all, we won't have time. Second, we'll lose the taste. But if you are not attached, so for example, now Janmashtami is coming up, day in and day out, we should just keep thinking about this. Oh, how do I know? How do I celebrate Krishna's birthday? How can I, invite more people? How do I collect more Lakshmi for Krishna? What all activities have to be done? Oh, we have to do flower decoration. Oh, we have to get this. Oh, we have to get that. No, our day in and day out, we should keep meditating about this services. Now, when we come to that stage, automatically we will lose attachment to material activities. Automatically. But initially, we might not be able to do that. Right? And to be able to do that, then that's the reason why I keep pushing devotees saying that go be part of a congregation. Go be part of some local program that is happening. Engage yourself there, do services, try to preach, try to do other services. Because otherwise this attachment is not going to grow. And that's the reason why, we've set up this center in Ulimao, why we are trying to set up similar, this one in Chandra. We are trying to do all that. Because the idea is otherwise devotees cannot get absorption. If devotees cannot get absorbed in devotional service, then they will get absorbed in material service. It's a very simple thing. It's either this or that. We cannot become like, stone. No, our mind has to be absorbed somewhere, but we have to give it an object of absorption. If we give it devotional service is the object of absorption, then we will automatically forget material activity. The process of breaking attachment to the material discussed in the beginning of this chapter. The root of this material existence grows upward. This means that it begins from total material substance on the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represent the results of the living entity's activities, namely Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So this whole material world, it grows downwards from Brahmaloka, right? So the roots grow upward. The whole tree grows downwards from Brahmaloka. And it is all, this whole universe represents this tree. This tree represents this whole universe. So many branches, which branches are representing planetary systems. So there are so many planetary systems. Then there are fruits of this tree, which are actually Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, which is the intent of the tree. What is the reason for the existence of the tree is to produce fruits. And what are the fruits for people in this material world is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So this is this tree. This tree in this whole material world is entanglement for us. Prabhupada is saying now there's no ready experience in this world of a tree situated with its branches down and roots upward, but there is such a thing. One can find it beside a reservoir of water. We can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and up. So when we see this reflection of a tree on the bank of a water body, then we can see that actually, when I'm seeing in the reflection, actually the tree seems to be growing downwards. And obviously, because the roots are inside, we can't see the roots, but we can assume then the roots are going upward. In other words, this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection is situated on desire. Please understand this. This reflection is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Meaning, if that water is not there, then we cannot see that tree at all. If there's no water, we cannot see the reflection. So if there's no desire to be in this material world, then this material world will not be there for us. Desire is the cause of things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through the analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it. So basically, it is this material desire which is holding us back. That is, I said, if we develop spiritual desire, then we'll get out. If we continue to, grow material desires, then we will get stuck here. This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Exact replica. Everything is there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of this material tree. And from the root, according to Sankhya, come Prakriti, Purusha, 3 gunas, 5 gross elements, 10 senses, etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahman is the center of all manifestations, then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees. And the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. So basically, this is a reflection. So one half is in the spiritual world, 180 degrees part. So if you circle 2 parts, top hemisphere, bottom hemisphere. Top hemisphere is in the spiritual world. Bottom hemisphere is in the material world. The material world is the perverted reflection. So this is very, very important. It's the perverted reflection. So the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality. So perverted means that it is spoilt in some sense, meaning it's not the real reflection. For example, say there's a tree and there's water, and the water has ripples, then it looks like the tree has ripples, but actually the tree doesn't have any ripples. Tree is not moving. Tree is not shaking. Because the water is shaking, the tree is shaking. So it means that it's not a real reflection. It's like some kind of a illusory reflection, perverted reflection, meaning that is good, this is bad. Perversion, if you see the meaning of this word perversion, pervert, distorted or corrupted. So it's not the actual one. Distorted, this distorted like water, like, water is shaking, right? So the tree also shake. So this is distorted. It's not the original. The original is not shaking. So whatever is there in this spiritual material world is distorted, but the original, meaning because it's a reflection, the original thing is present in the spiritual world, but in reality, it is not distorted. It is the original. This is the distorted image. The original object is there in the spiritual world. That is why, sometimes we don't understand. Like, for example, now there is love in this material world, but this love is distorted because it is self-centered. But the same love is there in the spiritual world and it is directed towards Krishna, so that is pure. But when that love comes to this material world, it becomes it becomes distorted, perverted. Prabhupada actually says that love has become lust. So it's so powerful that people can't get out of lust. The Prakriti is the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and the Purusha is the Supreme Lord himself, and that is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Since this manifestation is material, it is temporary. A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. So this is the whole key. This material reflection has to be cut off. So we have to end this material reflection. And we have to go to reality. We have to go to the spiritual world. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to this material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. So the purpose, one purpose is to cut off from this material world. The one who knows that purpose, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Vedas, Karma Kanda, he is attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. So they just stuck with, getting material benefits. They want to do dharma to get artha. That's all. That is not the purpose of the Vedas. Purpose of the Vedas is eventually moksha. For devotees, it is bhakti. Purpose of the Vedas as disclosed by the personality of Godhead is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree. So we have to be conscious to cut down this, cut down. That's why I keep saying, finish your grasta activities. Finish your grasta activities as early as possible. Right? Anyway, boys are there, then it's easy. Girls first, get them married away. Right? Boys, give them to Krishna. Best. No concern at all, no worry at all. Just give them to Krishna. Otherwise, they'll get married whenever. But it's okay. Not so much responsibility as much as having girls. So then then half of our attachment to this material world should go off. We just, and then the other half will be some personal things like I want this, I want to live like that. That is very easy to get out. And then for that you have to just absorb in devotional service, then all that will go off. Anyway, so the key is to develop this attachment. Key is to develop attachment. So kindly think about this. How do I become more and more attached? So my attempt is to engage everybody in service so that they have their own areas of service. So they become absorbed. Oh, I have to do this. Okay, we have to do Bhoga offering. So, Bhoga offering. Okay, we have to call Matadis. Okay, we have to get required stuff. Okay, every week we have to do offering at this time. So we'll start that also in our Chandra Layout Center soon. Once Krishna gives the mercy of going to a new place, then we'll start all this. So we want everybody to get engaged, absorbed, attached. People should feel like, no, I want to come. I can't miss this. Whatever, some nonsense function, it's okay. I'll go some other time or I'll skip it. Devotional service should become so important for us. Then automatically this detachment will come. And then people will complain. Usual. People want to complain for everything. Even if you do good, they'll complain. Even if you don't do good according to them, they'll complain. So don't bother about people's complaints. It's okay. We should manage it. And Prabhupada said, yeah, externally just say, ha, yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay, okay. That's all. Do whatever is required. So this is okay because this is miserable material world. Can't help it. But develop attachment. Develop attachment to the service of the Lord. And so this is very, very important. This whole tree business.
Hare Krishna,
Ah.
Prabhu. Sorry to interrupt. So, Prabhu, the tree which is mentioned in this purport, is it mentioned to make us understand how this whole process works, or?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean both. It's giving us an understanding of the material world, of
Okay.
what this material world is, and that this material world is not reality. And because it's an illusion, we have to get out of the illusion. So obviously, the first question people will ask is, now, how do I get out of this? First of all, they have to understand that it's an illusion. Second is people have come to have to ask this question, saying that how do I get out of this illusion? So Krishna is explaining this to make us understand, saying this is an illusion. This is an illusory tree. Don't hang on to it. So this chapter is mainly for those people who don't do bhakti, for them to develop detachment towards this material world. But for devotees, even though we are trying to get, our process itself is so powerful that it detaches, but we still have those hankerings, our own anarthas, because of which we are still attached to some aspects of this material world. So Prabhupada in his purport is addressing, saying that become attached to transcendental purpose. But the whole point is that this detachment has to develop. If somebody is in bhakti and they don't have that detachment to this material world and thinks about this material, they're not in bhakti. They're not in bhakti. Simple. They're doing mixed devotional service, or it could maybe they're not even. And some people just externally, do, but they don't even properly chant every day. They do whenever they can. And if some people are sincerely following the process, okay, they're doing sadhana bhakti, but they're doing mixed bhakti, mishra bhakti. Now, if they're doing mishra bhakti, they will not achieve detachment. And see, detachment, we have to understand. Detachment doesn't mean that we just become like, yesterday somebody was asking, Prabhu, I'm interacting with all these people at office and they keep talking about how much they have money, this, that, property. I feel very, sometimes I feel envious. What should I do? I can't avoid these people. I said, we can't avoid. We are in this material world. We can't go to the forest. But we have to be detached in the sense, if in this material world, there are people who are attached to Krishna, who are favorable to Krishna consciousness, and those who are not. Now, sometimes we have favorable circumstances such that, people around us are favorable towards Krishna consciousness. Then we will go on nicely serving Krishna and serving them also, because they're also then devotees and we are serving. Now, there might be situations, many devotees' lives, wherein Krishna, for some reason, wants them to go through this purification process, wherein people around them are not Krishna conscious, are not favorable to Krishna conscious, right? But still, we have to do our duty. We have to do our duty, finish it. It's not like we become stones. So detached doesn't mean that we suddenly turn ourselves into a stone. No, detached means responsibility is there. I do my responsibility externally, but I'm not attached to it. Oh, okay, I have a family. Okay, people in the house are not Krishna conscious. It's okay. I'll keep humbly trying with compassion so that they can become devotees. But it doesn't mean that no. Okay, I have to become detached. Okay, let me just stop. Let me get out of marriage. People think about all kinds of crazy things. No, we have a responsibility in the society. We have to, people have to get married. People have to do their grihastha life, but they should not get attached. And that detachment will come only when we are attached to devotional service. That is the whole point. And the reason this tree is being mentioned is just to make people understand, saying that this is illusion. This is an illusory tree and there is no end to it. Don't become attached to it. And then you can't get out of it. So you have to understand this tree and then get out of it.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, this words we can't complete. Okay, we will continue tomorrow. Any other questions? Anybody? Okay, no questions. Krishna, we'll meet tomorrow. One